What's up, my friend? Welcome back to another video. And today we're taking a look at my favorite percussion libraries. And this is a request I've gotten quite a few times, actually, going over percussion, because percussion programming is an art in itself, right? So to have good samples to make the job easier, that make mockups sound realistic right away, it's very, very important. And so I just want to show you some of my favorite percussion libraries. We're going to keep this super simple because honestly, I don't use that many libraries. And so I just want to show you some of my favorites and that I would recommend personally as well. You can already see Cineperk here, so that's going to be the first one. But just so you know, at any time, if you want to download my full recommendation list for sample libraries, not just for percussion, but also including strings, woodwinds, and brass, and pianos, and all that stuff, definitely check out my sample library buyer's guide in the description box below. It's totally free, and it goes over every single recommendation with prices as well, and utilities, how I would use them, things like that. And so you can grab that as kind of an accompanying guide to this video as my gift to you for checking this out. So let's kind of dive in. First of all, again, Cineperk is my go-to percussion library for orchestral percussion. 100%, right? It's just super deeply sampled. It's all within one package. So there's the core library, which is the traditional instruments you would see in a symphony orchestra. Then you get Pro, which contains a drum kit and some other ones, other percussion stuff that you don't typically see. Epic, which is a combination of a lot of stuff and played with a high intensity. And then Auxiliary is just a whole bunch of other stuff for the, to fill in the rest of the section. So let me just play some of the core instruments here. This is the timpani. So I love the timpani because it gives you the hits and the rolls in one patch, and it sounds great and it's easy to use. So yeah, you kind of have the hits on the upper end, and then you have the rolls on the lower end, and the dynamics for those rolls are triggered by the mod wheel. Let's hear the bass drum really quickly. Right, so you get like multiple tunings of the bass drum, and you get some special effects up here, which is really nice. And then here are the snares, some of the snares. So lots of variety there too. I typically just use the one on middle C, and I just go back and forth if I want just a typical marching military pattern there. And then finally, we got some cymbals here. So all these instruments just sound so good recorded in the Sony scoring stage. Really love it. Let's also have one listen here to the tubular bells. Just a beautiful sound, so clear, so bright. I just love how Dennis Sands mixed these libraries. Okay, then really quickly for drum kit, I like to use the one from Cineperk Pro actually, and it's super clean as well, so. Again, big fan of that one. Very clean, very neutral sound as well. You could definitely use it for like rock music, or even just pop. I typically use it a lot for pop music, and then I layer it in with like drum machine samples, but yeah, it just lends a really nice acoustic feel. Then on the topic of drum kits, let's move on to the Damage drum kit as well, which is kind of like a follow-up library to their Damage 2 library. So this one has a slightly closer, more punchy sound. course, you get those kind of crashes up there. And yeah, you get the kit designer, which is this patch here, but you also get the loop designer and the ensemble designer. So you can play it kind of like very similar to how you do damage 2. And speaking of damage 2, this is a great alternative for me if I don't want the typical traditional percussion. You know, if I want something a little bit bigger with big low drums and a bit more thumping energy, then I'll use damage 2. So. Right, and one really cool thing about the damage series here is that you can kind of bring it closer and you can bring it all further away if you want to. So let's hear what it sounds like if it's really close up. Sorry, I'm going to close Discord there. But you get the sense of how it all sounds when it's a little drier, right? So you don't really have to toggle with a lot of external reverb. All it takes really is just using this slider here. And of course, you can always drag if you want certain instruments a little bit panned more to the left or to the right. You can do that and further away and closer. So that's just really cool there. And then finally, this is kind of a little gem, is the drum kit from Metropolis Arc 1. A lot of people aren't aware that there's actually a band included here. So, you know, most people focus on the orchestra and choir, but and there's also a bit of percussion here, but there's a dedicated band as well. So guitars, a bass, and a drum set. So before I had the Damage libraries and Cineperk, I actually used this drum kit exclusively. So. Yeah, so you can see the general MIDI mapping here, right? Super simple, and they give you that drum kit that has a lot of reverb to it, but for those big anthemic songs where you want that splash of reverb, then this is a perfect solution there. So yeah, that's it. There's so many drum libraries on the market, and for good reason. Like there's a lot of producers, you know, composers even writing more pop styles, and so a lot of drums are required, but at the same time, it can get really overwhelming when trying to decide which is the best percussion drum library for you. And for me, when I get way too many options, I get overwhelmed. That's why I stick pretty simple to what I already have. Again, for traditional percussion, Cineperk for me is king. And then if I want something a little bit more meaty, then Damage, Drum Kit, and Damage 2 are my go-tos. And then if I also want something like the drum kit with a bit more reverberance and a bit more punch, then the kit from Metropolis Arc 1 is my favorite there as well. Hopefully that was useful. Hopefully that gives you a bit of an insight again into, you know, some of the stuff that I use. And even, you know, a lot of these libraries here, they have drums and stuff included in them too. Actually, I forgot to mention one, actually, I should. I use the drum kit from Swing More quite a bit. So where is it? Percussion, big band, kit. And then, yeah, they also have these grooves that are included here, which is really nice. I'm just going to play you maybe one of these here. So if I'm writing a big band track and I want, you know, a really natural sounding groove and I don't want to program it in, then they give you these options. Right, and you can see I kind of bumped up the EQ here a little bit with a sparkle knob, but yeah, great library as well for jazz. The original Swing library also has a really cool drum kit there as well. So they've got the Jazz Drums original, Jazz Drums there, and then they got also tempo sync grooves as well if you want to drag in some more ballad style drum grooves. So anyway, there we go. That is a quick overview on the percussion I use. Again, if you want to check out the full list of not just drums, but like the entire orchestra and the harps, pianos, like ethnic libraries, jazz libraries, all the stuff that I use on a regular basis, then you definitely want to download my Sample Library Buyer's Guide as a gift. It's, again, totally free, and it goes over every single recommendation. I've included the prices and how I use those libraries. So hopefully you find that useful, and you can use it as a buyer's guide if you're on the market for a new library and you want to check out my recommendation to see if it's there. You can scroll through that and see if it's in there for you. So thank you again for watching. I appreciate it. I'll catch you in the next video, and take care. Bye-bye.